KSHB 41 News starts now.
A homicide in Kansas City claims the life of a teenage boy. The new information we're learning about the victim as police search for a suspect. And the summer heat about to make a comeback with the potential for another heat wave. Plus, kids in Missouri get ready to head back to class. Teachers, students, and the community share their thoughts on the upcoming school year. 5 o'clock in Kansas City. Thank you for watching KSHB 41 News on air or your favorite streaming device. I'm Bryant Madrick. Well, starting tomorrow, kids in Missouri will go back to school and students will return to class in what will be another year in the middle of a pandemic. Here's a look at some districts opening for the school year tomorrow. They include Kansas City Public Schools, North Kansas City, and Independence Public Schools, among others. The biggest point of discussion surrounding schools reopening are whether or not to issue masking mandates for staff and students. The approach is different in districts across the metro. Some of the biggest districts, like KCPS, will have its students and staff wear masks in the classroom. However, other districts are opting for mask recommendations rather than mandates. So how will all of this affect your child's experience in the classroom? KSHB 41 News reporter Charlie Keegan shows us how teachers, students, and the community at large are getting ready for school. We know there's a lot to keep track of as you send your kids back to school this year. That's why we have plenty of resources available on our website. It's a click away on KSHB.com under our Back to School tab. Well, another day of warm weather, but it was actually very nice outside and yesterday. But Wes, will it last? That's the big question. We all want to know.
It's over, man. It's pretty much over.
Thank you, Wes. Kansas City police are investigating a pair of homicides that happened last night. The first occurred just before 8 on the 3500 block of Agnes Avenue. Police say a 15-year-old boy was shot and killed. We've learned his name is Demario Gentry. He died at the scene. No suspects have been named at this time. The second homicide happened near East 118th Street and Delmar Drive around 11 last night. According to police, they found a man unresponsive in a car with apparent stab wounds. First responders took him to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. Detectives confirmed they have a person of interest and spoke with other people for more information. This brings Kansas City, Missouri's homicide total to 100 for the year. At this time last year, the city had 126 homicides. Another overnight shooting left 3 people injured in Westport. Police reported shots fired just before 3 in the morning in the area of Westport Road and Mill Street. Officers were handling a disturbance when several gunshots rang out in the crowd. 1 man and 2 women were hit by the gunfire, but they will survive. Now, if you know anything about these incidents, police want to hear from you. Call the TIPS hotline at 816-474-TIPS. A reminder, you will remain anonymous and possibly earn a cash reward. Hospital beds are filling up and some patients are being turned away so doctors can treat people dealing with severe symptoms of COVID-19. In Missouri, 85% of ICU beds are currently filled. Kansas doesn't fare much better with 72% of beds filled. That data comes from the Missouri and Kansas health departments. And the high volume of patients only adds more stress to doctors and nurses in already overwhelmed healthcare systems. Medical professionals urge the community to roll up their sleeves and get the vaccine, stressing that it poses no danger compared to the virus itself. But another problem continues with stagnating vaccination rates on both sides of the state line. According to the Missouri Department of Health, just under 44% of Missourians completed their vaccination. That number is nearly identical in Kansas, with just over 44% of the state's population now fully vaccinated. There's a chance more people could roll up their sleeves if the FDA gives full approval for Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. Multiple reports share the agency could get the green light as early as tomorrow. Other experts hope this will reduce vaccine hesitancy. Experts add full approval could also pave the way for more vaccine mandates. And people who did get their doses of the vaccine could also get their booster shots as early as next month. The CDC and other top health experts call for anyone who got the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine to get their booster 8 months after their second shot. Those agencies hope to start rolling out booster doses as early as September 20th. Thinking about getting the shot? Well, we have plenty of resources on our website, kshb.com. Just click on the coronavirus tab. President Biden speaks to the nation on next steps for Afghanistan. And here at home,
there were so many other people too that were just like me.
A race is raising awareness for a type of cancer many people are not aware of. Before kids head back to class, a local church is hoping to bring some positivity to students before the first bell rings. St. Michael and All Angels Episcopal Church prepared a blessing for children today. The church's pastor says it's a way to provide some relief for the kids ahead of another school year in a pandemic. The church also brought out the bounce house and grill for barbecue as a way for the kids to have a little bit of fun before the school year starts.
3, 2, 1.
And they're off. Racers dash from the start line in this morning's Outpacing Melanoma 5K. It's the 10th year for the event, where all money raised goes to support melanoma research. The founder of the organization behind the run started the event in hopes of raising awareness to a cancer she says went under many people's radar. She suggests getting checked for melanoma as quickly as possible, adding it's easier to treat it the sooner it's detected. Evacuating Afghanistan, President Biden and top security officials talk about their plans to get more Americans out of the country.
You're watching KSHB 41 News.
Chaos continues in Afghanistan's capital following the Taliban's takeover, with refugees attempting to flee the country. At least 7 people were crushed to death as crowds tried to rush into the airport. Thousands still wait for a flight out of the country, with the Pentagon requesting emergency use of 18 commercial aircraft to help with evacuation efforts. The World Health Organization and UNICEF also call for a humanitarian air bridge to deliver medicine and other supplies to Afghanistan. President Joe Biden addressed the nation today on the evacuation process in Afghanistan, stating that the military evacuated 28,000 people from the country since August 14th. He says his focus remains on evacuating Americans still in the country. The president says refugees flown out of Kabul will go through security and background checks before arriving in America. He's also coordinating with the leaders of other countries who are helping to take refugees in. Kansas City is already gearing up to help refugees that arrive in the metro. Della Lamb says it's ready to welcome a new wave of Afghan refugees. They already helped several families that fled Afghanistan earlier this year. Other organizations like Asylum Clinic KC in North Kansas City offer free legal help to refugees navigating the immigration system. And those organizations are not the only ones opening their doors. Jewish Vocational Services hopes to make families' lives easier in their transition to the United States. Other news we're tracking tonight: weather. Severe flooding in Tennessee has killed at least 22 people, with dozens still missing. Take a look at this damage. Rushing water carried cars and pieces of homes downstream, obstacles that got in the way of rescue efforts. The Tennessee Emergency Management Agency has activated a level 3 state of emergency as a result of the flooding. Meanwhile, in the northeastern part of the country, Tropical Storm Henri left more than 100,000 people without power, along with property damage from wind and rain. President Biden approved emergency declarations for Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, where the storm first landed. National Guard, state police, and utility companies stand by for any future problems brought by the storm. Let's bring the meteorologist Wes Perry right now. So what does the timeline look like for when the storm is going to move out of there?
All right, she's back at home on KSHB on Friday, guys.
Sounds good. We'll see you tonight at 10. Take care.